Welcome back to the Barreto family and another Operation Christmas Child video. In this video, I'm going to finally answer some of your questions. You guys asked a ton of great questions, and small confession, I think I have like 10 emails that I haven't even read yet. So if you asked a question via email, I am not ignoring it. I just am really busy and have not had a chance to even check emails. But let's start off with an OCC update. So we did get a text message. This was on, let me see if there's a date on this text. It was last week. So it was during the week of Valentine's Day. And it says, "Blessings, dear ministry team leaders. The next step is helping in prayer so that the container, the shipping container, with our evangelistic opportunities, so those are the shoeboxes, they refer to them as evangelistic opportunities, can arrive quickly and in blessing." So at this point, that's all we've gotten. As I'm speaking to you, it is February 25th. And the last we heard from them was about last week, and they're still waiting on the shipping container. So it's in process. As soon as that arrives, we'll get more updates. But that is the latest update. Now, for the questions that I have been putting off answering, because I just don't know how to go about it. So let me preface this with saying, I want to respond to your questions in the most genuine and heartfelt way I can. But please also know that these are thoughts and opinions, and these particular questions are deeper and a little bit more difficult to respond to. So I want to be as encouraging as I can, but also honest. So here we go. Pamela asked, "I love watching your OCC videos. I greatly appreciate your honest missionary perspective as one who actually gives boxes to the children. I wonder if you could possibly speak to what is said often in a lot of shoebox groups. God will get it to the right child. Has this always been your experience?" So let's start with that question, and then she asks a trickier one. I mean, in the end, God has full control. So if we trust that God is sovereign and that he has control, then yes, the shoeboxes will get to the right child. I think the reason, though, that phrasing is used so often is because the stories that we share, the stories that we hear, are those stories of those instances where a shoebox got to exactly the right child. And so we focus on the positive. We focus on those moments of blessing where we can see God's hand work, and we don't necessarily notice or focus on moments where it doesn't happen. So on one hand, I fully believe that God has control, and therefore, yes, every box should get to the right hands. But also, I think, on the other hand, these stories that we share are the ones of those situations. So that's why it gets highlighted so much. I hope that answers that question. And if you hear rustling, I've got my sweet little one playing right here. She does not want to be held. She wants to play and explore. So I will try to keep going, but I got little kids, and so there's a little bit of background noise. All right, this is still from Pamela. She says, "Also, I wonder if you could speak," this one's tough. "Also, I wonder if you could speak more to the vast difference between full, fun, and personal boxes versus boxes that might arrive half full due to a lack of enough filler at the processing centers. For example, at the Charlotte Processing Center this year, we were having to tape boxes that were a quarter to a half full during the last week of processing. I feel for the children who do not receive quality full boxes. What is it like for these children at the distribution? It seems that at some point, not all, church packing parties are more concerned about quantity goals instead of packing full, fun, and personal boxes. It's sad to see so much focus and incentives given to the number of boxes instead of what is actually inside them." So, the basic question is, can I speak to the difference between a full, fun, personal box and one that arrives a quarter or a half full? I wish, The challenge that OCC has, and I mean, I'm speaking from my perspective, but the challenge that they have is that every box has a QR code, which means somebody gave that box, and therefore they need to be good stewards of what was given. So they can't just say, well, it's half full, so let's combine these two boxes and we'll ship them all as one and send one full box. Because they have to be, they're responsible in a way to the giver. And if the giver sent a box, then that box needs to get sent. The challenge that they have, though, is that at those ends of the week when there are no fillers to fill that box does get shipped half full. This hasn't happened a ton at the packing or at the parties, the evangelism parties that we've had. Usually we've had pretty standard, good, full boxes. I have seen a few boxes that have come in very low on things, and we've actually added some things to the box on our end when we saw a child, because we have like a prize box at our church. So we have in the past 1 or 2 times like found a way to get a couple extra things into a box that was very lacking. Do the kids notice? Yes. Is it unfortunate when they notice? Yes. Is a big part of the heart gratitude in general? Also yes. So even though one box might be a lot more full than the other, both kids feel blessed because they got something that they didn't earn, they didn't work for. They both got a gift. And so it's still a blessing, but I will say we're giving out these boxes in parties of 50, 100, even 200 kids at a time. And so the differences in boxes is noticed. I wish there was another way that OCC could help prevent that from happening. I understand that they have to send the box that was given, but I wish there was another way when we get to the end of those packing weeks and there are little fillers. I wish there was another way that they could make sure that those boxes were still quality. I don't know how else to respond to that question. The basic gist of it is, do kids notice when their box is different from the others? Yes. Do the kids generally still feel blessed? Also, yes. And so it's a hard question. It's a very hard question just because there's no easy answer. Okay, I'm currently sitting here and I am finishing editing the hard questions that you guys asked. And in this part where we're talking about quality versus quantity, I talked about some of the challenges that are faced with boxes getting sent and there's no filler to add to them at the processing center. But let's talk about it from a packer's standpoint. If I am a packer and I have the opportunity to send 2 semi-full boxes or 1 full quality box, I would go for quality over quantity. And I understand that at packing parties, there's a set number that they want, but I would urge those packing parties to understand that these kids get 1 box in their lifetime. And the goal of that box is for it to be a tangible picture of God's love. And God's love doesn't come in half quality. God's love comes full, in abundance. And so I'm not saying spend an arm and a leg. That's not where this heart is coming from. But if you had to choose sending more boxes over sending quality boxes, I would say quality every time. Quality is going to win. So that's my one suggestion. I would say quality over quantity. And again, I understand the urge to get more boxes and that desire and that heart, but also understand the heart of these kids are only supposed to ever get 1 box in their lifetime. And we want that box to be the biggest possible blessing that they could receive. Hopefully that adds a little extra touch to that answer. I don't know if you guys have a thought or a comment, put it down below on this one and also on the next one that I'm about to read. Because this is something that should be talked about. It shouldn't be taboo. It shouldn't make anyone feel poorly. In no way do we want to harp on or get on somebody for not filling, because that's not the heart. The heart isn't to judge what goes into the boxes or what gets filled. That's not where we're coming from. But it is important to realize that these boxes are being given out in mass settings. And so the kids are going to compare. It happens. Okay, let's go on to her next question. And I think this video, I'm going to stick with just Pamela's questions because they were some of my harder ones. Okay, it has been a couple of days. I've got 2 kids and life got crazy, so I did not finish this video. I've got one more part of Pamela's question that I'm going to answer, and then I can get this video posted and move on to some of your other questions. So let's answer this last part of Pamela's question. She said, have you ever seen the vast differences in box contents to be hurtful stumbling blocks to children? I wish this situation could be discussed more in Shoebox Facebook groups without people being accused of box shaming when they advocate for quality, long-lasting items and full boxes. Thank you. So yes, let's reiterate what I said at the beginning of this video. That is not the goal of me answering these questions, is not to shame. I think it's really good, though, to have open discussions about these topics, and they are hard topics to talk about. So please also understand these are thoughts and opinions of mine as we're sharing these thoughts. But before I share my opinion, I'm actually going to read a response. Someone responded to Pamela's question, and her name is Becky. And so here's what Becky said. She said, very much so. Wish people would be willing to talk about quality boxes. I am a missionary in Poland. Becky, whoever you are, it is so fun to meet another missionary from another part of the world. May God bless you as you serve. And it's so beautiful to hear your thoughts. So thank you so much for commenting so that we can glean some ideas from other missionaries as well. Sorry, back to her response. I'm a missionary in Poland and had the privilege of giving out some shoeboxes that came to Poland. I went through the boxes first to make sure there was at least one toy in each box. If not, I added one. Truthfully, don't worry, I won't be giving them out again. But there was one very large box that came full of used ladies' clothes. Nothing fun at all. That box did not get given out. So there's that. In our case, the children were not excited about the toothbrushes, etc. It was the toys. They pawed through all the healthy stuff like toothbrushes, etc. and looked for the little toy. Very beautiful perspective. The whole purpose of this project is to show them God's love and share the gospel. And so we want to make sure that they're not getting secondhand things. They're not getting the second best. That whatever box gets sent is quality. Yes, that's important. I did make a video on how much should you spend. And I think that's a really good video that it talks about the goal isn't to spend a bunch of money, but it is to show love. And when we show love, we want to do that in the best way possible. And quality boxes is one way that that can be done. In terms of my experience, have we ever noticed, this is Pamela's question, vast differences in box contents being hurtful stumbling blocks to children? There is one that comes to mind, and I have never shared this on the channel because I try to be very positive and uplifting, and I want to highlight the great things. Every ministry, every project has things that they can do better, whether it's at school, at work, whatever it is. And so those are good things to talk about, but I try not to harp on them or highlight them because we want to focus on the positives in a lot of ways. However, it's also good to talk about areas of improvement. I'm going to tell one story. I wish at the time I had taken pictures, but honestly, it was on, I don't want to use the word shame, but the box that arrived was so difficult to see, knowing that these should be gifts for children. It was so difficult to see what was in this box that honestly, I didn't even want it to become public knowledge. Like I didn't even want to share it with anyone. This particular box that I'm going to describe, we did not give out to a child. The child got it and actually called us over and was very upset by the box. And this is the one and only time this has ever happened. What was in the box? First off, the box was less than half full. So it's possible that the processing center at that point had run out of filler. I wish that didn't happen. I wish things like this particular box that I'm about to describe didn't ever get sent because this one was harmful. In the box was literally trash and recycling. And I don't say that lightly. There was an old scratched up CD that they had taken a bottle cap and glued the bottle cap onto it. And they had taken like a piece of cardboard and rolled it I think it was a cereal box. They had rolled it into like a cone shape, and they had hot glued a cone shape onto a CD with a bottle cap to make a top. They had in a used, like it wasn't even a new Ziploc baggie. It was crumpled and gross and dirty. In a used Ziploc baggie, they had put a piece of used cardboard that they had drawn 4 lines on to make tic-tac-toe. And they had put 6 Pepsi bottle caps and 6 Coca-Cola bottle caps. And that was a toy. They had put some folded up old papers as paper airplanes. I think there might have been a bar of soap and a washcloth in this particular box. But the things that I remember were literally recycling that had been turned into toys. When that's the only thing that arrived in this box, and the kids here are very affluent in taking recycled items and making toys out of them, this child didn't feel special. They didn't feel loved. They felt like they got the scraps, like they got the leftovers, and all the other kids were opening Barbies and pictures and all sorts of things. And this particular kid was very hurt. Praise the Lord, we had an extra box, and we immediately, oh my goodness, I don't know how that happened. I am so sorry. Remember, we just received them. I'm so sorry that got looked over. Hand it to me. And literally we like ditched it. We hid it. We got it out of sight, out of mind, and gave them a brand new box and let them open a brand new box of toys. But that image of getting the leftovers is still going to stay in that child's mind. Now, again, I am not trying to box shame. Whoever sent that, maybe that's the best they could do. And there's nothing wrong with sending the best you can do. However, I think it is important to realize the purpose of this project is to be a tangible gift of God's love. And God never gives us his second best. He never gives us the broken, old, used bits of life. He breathes life. He gives us new. His love is perfect and abundant. And so that's what we want to show the kids when we pack boxes. We want to show them Christ's love. Again, I urge you to check out that video that I did make on how much should we spend. And spoiler alert, I don't talk about money. I talk about the heart behind packing a box. But this was just that one instance. I do wish I had a picture just to show you guys so that you could see the impact. Unfortunately, it was a negative impact that particular box had. I will, however, say I've never had another box like that come in. Very few and far between, but it did happen. And it was one that was really hard to receive, if that makes sense. I hope, as I've answered, Pamela, these were amazing questions, and I hope we can start a conversation and a discussion and understand that the goal is not to make anyone feel bad. The goal is not to, that's not the goal. But we do want to share and speak openly, because this is a challenge, and it is a challenge when we're sending gifts to kids. And so I think it's good to have this discussion. I also want to say again, I don't want to harp on the negative, because these boxes are an incredible source of blessings for the kids. And it's an incredible opportunity to share the gospel with kids that may not normally come to church. So for those of you who pack, thank you. Thank you in advance for all of the love and care that you put into packing those shoe boxes. If you have any comments, any questions, put them down below. I do, again, just hope that my heart has been heard. That's the hope in this particular video, is just to share the heart behind why shoeboxes are packed, to talk openly about this topic, because it is a tough topic, but it's good to talk about. It's good to talk about tough things so that we can learn and grow. But I love you guys. I am interested to see the comments that come out of this particular video, and just share with you guys as this project continues for us this year. We love you guys and hope to hear from you guys soon, and we'll see you on the next video. Can you say bye, Sammy? Say bye. Say bye. Who's that? Is that Samantha? You got 2 teeth coming in, don't ya? You are teething on those fingers. Bye.